right?
Like on camera.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of 15 Good Minutes. Coach B here. We got a couple guests in the building. Let me go with my host first. LB, how we doing today, man?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Looking good. Noticed, for those that follow the show, and I'm sure many of you do, LB is rocking a different background today. Interesting.
Oh, yeah, different room.
It's what we do. It's what we do. Freddie, what's up, man?
How's everyone doing?
Doing well, man. How you doing? You feeling better?
Feeling better. My back is a little sore. Woke up this morning feeling bad. I didn't think I was gonna make it, but I didn't want anyone to think I didn't want to show up because I dread this topic tonight.
That's okay. Don't dread it. It's coming. Charles, how you doing, buddy?
I am wonderfully excellent. It's great.
Good to see you there. Good to see you there. We do have a couple guests today because of the nature and the topic of our show. So from 15 Good Minutes, I'd like to say welcome to Denise. That's my wife, Dee. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
On the other side of the house, we got my good friend Steve. Steve, how you doing, my guy?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I can't complain. Hey, and there's old Rupert. He's made it back in there. Mace, what's up, my guy?
Hey, man, ain't nothing but the same old thing. Cold weather.
The weatherman's back. We missed that.
How you doing, Daryl?
What's up, Freddie?
So the reason that we have so many distinguished guests on the show today is because I wanted to center the conversation around the Washington Commanders, and specifically, I wanted to take the conversation from people that I've known to be fans forever. Steve, retired DC police officer. Denise, who's born and raised, grew up there, and JR for as long as I've known him. And you know, it's been tough. It's just been tough. So I thought, instead of looking at, you know, the upcoming championship games, I want to focus on this team and what it means to each one of you right now. And it was important to me to do the show now and not after the championship game or not after the Super Bowl, but to do it right now in this moment, which is only a few days, you know, after they beat the number one seed. And before I open it up, I want to remind you guys that, you know, we got one legitimate football coach on this panel. And last week, he said this could happen. He said it would not be a surprise. He said that they were qualified to do what they did. And so hats off to Freddie, because as somebody who's, you know, sometimes with me, and I'll get your opinion, but sometimes I feel like Charlie Brown in Washington has been Lucy with the ball, right? And so I lean on Freddie for all things football, because it's real easy if you've, you know, grown up in this area to have your vision skewed. But now, having said that, and going to the NFC Championship game, I'm going to start with you, D. What, as a fan, what does this season mean to you, and where the Washington Commanders are right now in their journey?
I am so thrilled. It's ridiculous. I'm watching this happen, and it's unbelievable. It's kind of like funny, not funny. It's like I'm proud of them the way I used to be, and it feels so good to see them, you know, turn the corner, turn the page, open a new book. I really hope that what we have seen this year is just not some fake shit. And I hope it continues. I want them to build on this, because everything that we've seen in the city, the town, the stadium is full of Commanders fans, you know, not the other team. You know, people are so excited, and I just want this to continue. And it just means so much to me, because I've been a fan for like 53 years. So, I mean, this is just great.
Right. So appreciate that. Pivoting to you, Steve, as much time as you spend in the city, you know, personally and professionally, I want to get your take on where the city is and what you're seeing with the city, but I also would like to know how much, if at all, do you think the other changes that have taken place have impacted this? The new ownership, for example, your new coach, things like that. Do you put any stock in the fact that the systemic change within the building has something to do with the success that we've seen on the field?
Well, I was there working at RFK Stadium at that time. So I understand the culture. I understand the challenges we have coming up right now, but Commanders are going to win Super Bowl this year.
See, there's always one. Hold up. What was the clock that I had on that before? Somebody jumped at Charles. We talked about this earlier. Like in the Steve, you win.
We will defeat Kansas City Chiefs this year in Super Bowl. Guaranteed.
So we're just gonna look past this NFC Championship game. Anyway, give me your city view,
but the city view, I see the same vibes I saw when I was at work in uniform. I'm watching it. We have the best fans in the world, but right now, the change of the coaching and the management, the culture, adding Magic Johnson, it's to see the owner and the owners in the locker room high-fiving and talk to the guys, and this kid Jaden Daniels is special. He's special.
Yeah, definitely. And to that point, I mean, you said some of the same things that D said, like seeing Kevin Durant in the building, and I forget the young kid that the Nationals drafted last year. Seeing Ovechkin, everybody supporting the team. JR, you've been a fan a long time, bro. Since we met in the early '80s. So you've seen both sides of this equation, much like Steve and Denise have. From the heyday and Joe Gibbs to now, how you feeling about the Commanders right now?
I have to ditto Denise. It's amazing, you know, to see a team. When I first got here, I think in '82, and I can remember sitting in 8101 watching the game, you know, and having your dad, the Dallas Cowboy fan or the Giant fan, didn't want to hear anything about us. It's amazing that they are what they are. I think we hit the jackpot with Jalen. I just think it's great. I think the upside of this is we may get some great players that might want to come, you know, to play here now, and that'll really buy into the situation. Steve's right. You got new management, and it's kind of sad they waited so long to see the poison that was festering, you know, and had us all these down, have people come here, take money, leave without playing. I think it's great. Like they both said, the city's hopping, and just Jaden, he puts me in the mindset of a young Ken Griffey as to the way he comes to the game, always smiling, ready to play. You see him get hit, he gets up, he does what he's got to do, and I think that's just great for the city.
Going to swing over to you now, LB. You know, like most of us, you've been around this thing a long time, man. You know, you've seen the heyday, you've seen the huge lull, you know, like decades long. What's your take on what you've seen, especially with an emphasis on this season and this team?
All right. For first, let me be very clear. I am not a Redskins. I'm Commanders fan.
Commanders, right?
Yeah.
You're a DC native.
I am a DC native. My mother was the fan of the Washington team. I was a Vikings fan as a child. So that's just to be clear. But I am rooting for them on this season because of, one, Snyder is gone, and two, Jaden Daniels as a player, as a person, he seems like he's the guy that's going to, you know, he has been the game changer for the franchise, obviously. So I'm rooting for him. And to JR's point, I think they will get more players now because of him. You know, everybody wants to play with a winner. You know, nobody wants to play with bums. So you got better management now. Snyder's gone. You got a stud quarterback course, people are going to come. At least they should. So I'm wishing the best to them and for the city. It has been a long time since they've had anything to smile about. And this was actually the first game of the season that I watched was this game against who they beat?
Detroit.
Detroit, yeah. And I was impressed. I really was impressed. Like I say, I hadn't really watched them this all season. So yeah, I'm rooting for them. I really am.
I was impressed but cautious. Most of the guys on the panel understand how I have to sequester myself when that team is playing in this house. It's just what I've come to do, and you know, fans root in different ways, and I ain't getting in nobody's way, especially here. Charles, one of the most unexpected W's came against your beloved Bears at the end of the game. Being the great Chicago Bears fan that you are, when did you first really think that the Washington Commanders were legit and had a shot this year?
Obviously, they drafted the right guy, right? And we drafted the wrong one. So if we had to go all the way back there, probably there, that we drafted the wrong guy, right?
Y'all gonna be okay. Y'all gonna be okay.
No, I don't think so, right?
Got a new coach.
What, Jalen, the thing I was concerned about Jalen when they drafted him was his size. But everything else I thought he had. Great arm, right? And the maturity level was, for me, was off the charts, right? That's what I loved about him over Caleb Williams, right? His maturity level was fantastic. And so my only problem with him was the size. And then, after their first, 5-6 games, you saw what this kid was doing, and he was getting better every game, right? He was getting better every game. And, give some credit to, Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator. Give some credit to him, right? I don't think much of him as a coach, but the offensive coordinator, right? He's done a really good job with Jalen. But, a lot of that is give him some credit too, right? You can tell he put the work in, right? And in that game against Detroit, I'm going to tell you, if you don't make turnovers, right, you're going to give yourself a chance to win the game. Ask Baltimore, right? You're going to give yourself a chance to win the game. So, you could say from day one, right, basically, as you look back over the season, right, this guy was the guy. And not only he's changing, he changed the whole city outlook. I mean, look how excited the Commanders fans are, right? Look how excited Chicago Bears fans are. There's no excitement at all, right? So he's really changed the complexity of the Commanders completely.
Right. And so swaying back to the coach, Freddie, one of the things that obviously Washington had to do to get to where they were, and we talked about this last week because you were at the game, the divisional game, right, with Tampa, and even after that game last week, you remained neutral enough to give a really good perspective on how and why Washington could win. And I think I told you, in my opinion, them boys got to score 30. And before we can have a conversation, I said they got to score 30. And so to you, Freddie, I'm asking, damn, they got to 30 really quickly. And is this what you saw? Is that what you were really thinking last week, that it would go the way that it ultimately ended up going?
Allow me to be a Debbie Downer for the Commander fans, right? There's a lot to unwrap with this whole season that is the Washington Commander season. First, look at the whole picture, not just where they are now, but everything. I think they had a lot of good fortune. The Commanders, they played a bottom 3, bottom 4 divisional schedule.
We played.
No.
Here we go.
No.
We played Pittsburgh. We played the Ravens.
I'm talking about as it pertains to last year. The Commanders, they were 3rd or 4th in the division. So this year, your overall schedule, the rating, is a third level. This year, you're finishing second. So now you're going to play tougher competition next season, right? That's what's going to happen. The fact that Dallas screwed up and injuries and stuff like that, that's not Washington's fault. But these are all factors into the equation. These are all factors into the equation. Let's not, let's not take the fandom and just out loud, not pay attention to the reality and the facts. However, you did play a Tampa team that was decimated with injuries. That's not Washington's fault. I think with Detroit this past week, Detroit just couldn't get over the hump with all the 17, 18 injuries of guys that they have on our. Again, that's not Washington's fault. That's not Washington's fault at all. Washington beat who was in front of them last week and the week before. You got great luck when that idiot in Chicago did whatever he was doing. And I think that is what really kind of catapulted the Washington Commanders, the fan base and everybody into this level of belief. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. But these are the facts. You're playing Philadelphia this Sunday, which you can beat because you split this season with them. Jalen Hurts is a little bit banged up. Whatever, we'll see what the weather forecast and things of that nature. But I give Washington credit. They're well coached. They don't beat themselves. And when you don't beat yourself, you will have a chance. Jaden Daniels, he seems as if he's very calm and nothing gets to him. And kudos to him. And the offensive game plan that they put around him. And I think with Dan Quinn coming in and ownership, management, it's almost kind of like you had to rebuild the morale of the locker room, which I think now with winning, everyone's happy. Morale is up when everybody's winning. So, will I give them a chance to beat Philadelphia this week? I definitely think they can. Will they do it? I don't think so.
But you act like they didn't play no defense this year, no offense. they just walked into these wins. I'm like, wow.
Let's go back.
Washington's defense wasn't great. It wasn't great.
It wasn't great, but they did enough to beat a lot of good teams.
I get that, right? But look at when you look at the defenses of the 4 teams that's left now: Kansas City, Buffalo.
I'm not even gonna count Kansas City. They get help.
In Washington, what defense is the best defense out of those 4? It's not Washington.
But they may not be, but they stood up. They stood the battles of the year. I mean,
Yes, you did, Jim.
They had one game where they had 5 turnovers in one game and still came back.
Hold up,
and win the game.
AJR. We beat the number 1 seed in their stadium.
Yeah,
and they came up a bye week. I don't want to hear what these haters are saying right now. The man is off the real. And real quick, I hate it when someone says the coach on the sideline is the one responsible for the Redskins winning. When Jaden Daniels takes off running, that wasn't Cliff saying, "Hey, get in there and run the ball, man. Go ahead, take off running with the ball." This kid is 1 in a million. We drafted him. The Bears picked their pick. The Vikings picked their pick. And stop hating on my Commanders, because we are going to the Super Bowl and we are going to win.
Damn, he goes with the Super Bowl again. Listen. Let me say this, Steve. I think everybody who's still standing went through teams that were hurt. They got injuries themselves. You look at some of them wins that Kansas City got, and I think JR called. I'm not even going to talk about the help that they're giving the 15. I don't have time for that conversation today. But what I can say is that last point that Steve made to me was the period on the sentence. It wasn't just that you won against Detroit. It was the number 1 seed and you beat them like they weren't even there. Now, to your point, Freddie.
Their home stadium.
Yes, to your point, Freddie, there was some luck of the draw, catches there. I get all of that, but you know what? Every championship team has that at some point in their season. Buffalo has had it. Kansas City has had it. And Philadelphia just had it. So this is not exclusive that Washington is I'm not saying lucky. I'm saying I believe at this point they are where they're supposed to be. Can they win? Yes. Will they win? Don't know. I'm not like Steve. I'm not going to call him a Super Bowl win. I'm not doing that. But
they got to get past Buffalo.
I have to give them from some, again, going back to the premise, JR, was as somebody who was born and raised here and who's been dealing with the negativity for decades, from a fan's perspective, this is good. I don't care, me personally, what defense is ranked first. I don't care if we're the third ranked person in the division or the first. At the end of the day, and the other thing Steve said, I've preached all the time, because every time I take a loss as a coach, I used to always have to field questions about why'd you put that defense in? Why'd you do this or that? But I would tell my players all the time, I can only get you to that court. Freddie can only get you to that field. You have to execute. And I believe that the attitude in Washington surrounding number 5 is because people, to your earlier point, like to be associated with winners. Most of these folks in Ashburn are the same ones we had last year, with the exception of a couple. So this tells me they had the talent, but they didn't have the will or the drive or the reason to believe they could do that. And sometimes it just takes one person. And I agree with Charles 100%. Every time that boy takes off running, I think, this is it. This is how he ends. Because he looks so skinny and so thin, I worry about him taking a hit. But I think his upside is his attitude. I think his upside is his work ethic. And you listen to what his coach says. He tells you in a minute, Steve, this ain't me. The stuff you see on that field with that young man is stuff that is not coachable. So regardless of how this weekend goes, for me, I'm excited about where they are. I'll open it up to you guys now. Does anybody else feeling like that, or do you have some trepidation? I'm not going to ask Steve because he's got him in and winning the Super Bowl. But D, do you feel like this is a good time for the city and a good time for the area?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been saying all year they are who we thought they were, because they still have some issues that look very similar to what we've been looking at for 20 years.
Like not tackling, missing balls,
exactly.
dropping
the
them.
Tackling, I don't understand the tackling that some of them are doing, but it isn't working because people are running over you and they're dragging you with them. Okay. So the secondary needs some help. We got to do something with that damn kicker. Get the situation in order, because Mr. Gonzalez, I knew it. He was too perfect. And I said, he's going to either do another dink and dunk or whatever that was he did last week, or he's going to miss. And he did it. And I cussed him out again this week, like I did last week. So let's get that secondary together. Let's get this kicking situation together, and we can beat anybody on any given Sunday. That's all it is. We can beat anybody. Just be smart. Don't make stupid mistakes, and we'll be okay. I want them every week. Go in there and participate fully. If you lose with some damn dignity. But if you're not going to go in there and do the right thing, then we have no chance. And Jaden Daniels, I love this young man. And I love the way he praises the Lord after every game, every press conference. He is giving honor to God, and I'm going to get off my religious bandwagon. But that's one of the reasons why I love this young man. He's just a good, decent human being from what I see. And there you have it.
Charles, does Washington have a shot this weekend?
Oh yeah, they definitely have a shot, right? Again, it's going to be all about, they've been doing a really good job of taking care of the ball, right? They have moved the ball very well, right? And their defense is, they bend, but they hadn't broke, right? And so yeah, they got a chance to absolutely win this thing. And like I said, if they've been playing like they've played, especially in these playoffs, I mean, they could win this thing. They could definitely win it. I'm pulling for them to do that. I'm pulling for them to do. I do like the whole direction the team is going, management, everything, right? And I'm excited for the fans because I've been there 20 years ago, 25
1985.
years ago. Right? So I'm very excited for the fans, right? For the Commanders.
Steve, I got an objective question for you, which means I'm going to need an objective answer, right? So hear me out. I know you got him winning the Super Bowl. How do they stop Saquon Barkley?
Good question.
I tell you what, our defense is getting better. Our offense was there, but our defense is getting better. As we stop the number 1 seed who had a bye week. I don't think Saquon will have the best game he's ever had. Last week he ran for what, 200 yards? Those legs are a little tired right now. I don't see him repeating that. He's a little bit older.
What, he's a week older? Is that what you said? He's a week older from running 200 yards? Is that what we're going to go with?
Literally, he's quitting. He's going to quit this week.
He said he's a little older. He's a little older.
I didn't mean to say older, but he's gonna be a little fatigued. But check this out. This is how we beat Saquon. We keep Saquon off the field.
On the sideline.
Keep Saquon on the sideline. We do long, traditional Washington Redskin commander drives, 7, 8 minute drives, and keep his butt on the sideline.
But to do that, you must finish with a score.
Yes.
You understand? This goes back to what me and Freddie was talking about last week. I think you need another 30. So I get it, time of possession with the offense, but if you ain't putting numbers up,
we have the MVP. We have the best QB in the entire NFL right now.
So much for the objectivity. LLB.
What? We're going to score. We're going to score a whole lot.
I believe you. I do. I do. I'm gonna bring it back to LB. Can they win?
Yeah, 100%. They can win. Yes. Yeah, they can. I mean, I'm trying to be objective, but honestly, as a non-Washington fan, I get most of my joy. Well, I used to get my joy out of turning on the radio on Monday morning, and after they had lost, and just listen to the fans call in, and Doc Walker and them call them all kinds of names, and everybody's upset. We need to fire this guy and hire that guy, and who is this person playing center? Get him. I mean, it's just, that stuff was hilarious to me. And they have taken that joy away from me now by winning.
Well done and well said. They took that joy away, and this is why I think today the conversation from people who have had to be on the other side of what LB is talking about, because in this house we used to do it. After those losses, we'd have to watch B. Mitch and Trevor and all those guys go over, and if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. So to be on the other side of it and watch guys like Brian and guys like Trevor Maddich and all those cats that had to go through those decades of explaining why we were so bad, I just think it's a good time for the city, and I think it's a good time for the fans. So I'm happy. I'm glad we were able to get this done. Outside of Steve, I thought everybody was really quite objective and gave a great fans perspective. But I do appreciate having JR back on the show. We miss you, buddy. It was good to see you here, man. Bringing in the two most passionate fans between Denise and Steve. There was one other that couldn't make it, former player of mine, but he had practice tonight. He probably sits somewhere closer to Steve than he does to Denise, but I'm gonna send a copy of this to him so that he understands that's how it went. We have this thing that we do on the show before we leave. We always ask if anybody's got something to say. It can be about anything you want. I'm going to start with our guest. I'm going to start with you, D. You got something to say today?
There will be a black quarterback in the Super Bowl.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. JR, back to you, buddy. You got something to say today, man?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on Daniels, his maturity level, as we were saying earlier, he learned how to run or when to run and not to run. And I really think he picked that up really quickly after he took a hit, I think it was in the second game, he ran and got hit. It looked like he started hobbling a little bit after that. He started really picking and choosing, and I think that's great for us. And I hope he does the same thing this weekend. My last comment is, I don't know about these going for it on fourth and whatever. How many times we can do that? We can get away with it sometime, but we can't get away with it forever.
I'll be at Charles, my man. You got something to say today?
I was, as the game was going on, I was texting Rusty, right, asking how my girl is, right. So, when a down play, she probably was mad as heck, right? And then when they did a good play, right, she was up. So she's up and down the whole game, right? So I was kind of concerned about her, right? So Denise, I just want to let you know I was asking about you doing it.
Thank you. I appreciate your concern.
Freddie, Coach, you got something to say today, buddy?
So on the surface, yes, the Commanders do have a chance. However, I will say this: the trend with Washington's last two games, Washington didn't beat themselves. The opponent that Washington played beat themselves. Tampa, the fumble, and then the botched fourth and one play. That. Then you had Jared Goff with the first fumble, held on to the ball too long. He should have thrown it down the end zone. He didn't. Washington recovered it. The interception, the pick six, right? And then the other interception, it was a great play by the defender. He actually baited him, thinking that Jared Goff, thinking that he was beaten, and he did great. I forget, Sand something, whatever his name. Yeah. Great play by that young man. And then the dagger was when they ran the reverse and threw the interception. That was the dagger. The point of the matter is, had those plays not occurred, we could have been having a different conversation, right? Because
I'm just gonna say, if Its and Butts was candy and nuts.
See, if you have to speak it objectively, right? But needless to say, they happened, and Washington is playing Philadelphia. I don't think that Philadelphia will make those same mistakes that Washington, that Tampa and Detroit made, and not to mention those two big guys in the middle. Where you gonna run to? So we'll see. Hopefully, it'll be a good game. Go Eagles!
I think that's what you could have led with Go Eagles, because that's pretty much the only place you was going, right? There was no. God. So Steve, over to you, buddy. You got something to say?
Man, a lot of haters over here.
Nah, just one.
8. Everything that I said was a fact. Everything that I said was
right. But the minute you say, if so-and-so did so-and-so, I can say that for every other team in the league. Every other team in the league. If Kansas City didn't have the Zebras on their side, they wouldn't have won last week. So I'm not going to go down that if road.
We won't beat any team.
Yeah, Baltimore fans are saying the same thing too. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
If it wasn't this, they would have won, right? So
one other thing. What is a commander? I'm trying to understand.
What is a wizard?
Person in charge.
Well, we know what a wizard is. What I think we know what a wizard. Well, no, seriously, like no shade. What is a commander?
A winner.
He's the leader.
A winner.
Okay.
LB, over to you, my guy. You got something to say?
No, sir. I think it's all been said. I am rooting for number 5. I hold up. I defer my time to Denise.
Oh, no, finish. But I just want to let you know, I just have one more thing to say, and it's for Charles.
Go ahead.
So in case you didn't know, Jaden Daniels is already in the Hall of Fame. That Chicago game did it. The gloves, the ball, the pylon are in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well said. We'll end on that, and I look forward to catching up with everybody individually this weekend to see how this game goes. Several of us are on the group chat anyway, so we'll keep it up. Again, really appreciate JR for coming back and visiting the squad. Appreciate you, brother. Deef, thanks for being here. Love you. Steve, my guy, you know, we have this conversation all day, every day, and all of you guys are always welcome back on 15 Good Minutes. Good luck this weekend. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Bye.
Later.